Hello friends. Now last session we have studied what is this augmented reality and what is the virtual reality. Now in today's session we'll see there is a designing a smart homes. So what are the challenges to design smart homes or what is this smart home? So challenges or can say what is this smart home or what is the challenges to design this smart homes. So what is this smart home? So your home is considered to be a smart, right? By a collection of intelligent devices linked to the network, which can be remotely controlled, or via smart home hubs controlled using voice, which is replaced direct interaction with your family. The equipment you can find in your kitchen can be smart. The smart fridge, smart microwave, smart oven. It is never easier to program as they stat or AC because an app can be scheduled. The temperature can be monitored and set when you are out. If you forgot to lock the door, you can do it now via an app. Also, you can check your pet using the intelligent cap to ensure that everything is all right. Technology is beginning to adapt to how the people communicate normally. The user will not have across the usual learning curve of the conventional web forms with voice control interface for learning and mastering the use of the input device. Not first learning how to use the interface leads to a smoother, better experience for the users. So these smartphones. So as we talk, smart homes as increasingly popular. Back in the past decades, it is possible to see how the interaction between persons and intelligent devices dramatically changed from early computers with text-based commands to graphical user interface, mobile device, and touch devices. And technology development is not coming to the end here, as the interaction of IoT devices in our homes control by our voice is currently taking place. Let us therefore see how this new era affects us as a visual designers and what kind of challenges we face when we design the experience outside the screen based on the scientific hints of the 1980s and 1990s. They, they weren't as far away from the technology that would look like in a future homes. So what are the different challenges for these smartphones? So first is does your smart home understanding? So this is the first that it is must still be added that while communication to the people in natural activity, adaptation is slow. Even though the early adapters with Google's or eco devices that built their homes and could not imagine life without smart kitchen, smart safety, and intelligent climate control. The majority of them, including me, that is still get used to how voice is integrated in our homes. Second, what to look out for a visual designers. So here, this is a great opportunity for us, designers, to transition from a screen to voice and to start creating products that are much easier to use, to make people's lives easier by changing the way by perform everyday tasks. Not to mention spending more time with the other people rather than interacting with all sort of devices. So how can we design smart products that improve the user well-being at home, and what additional competencies should we have in order to keep up with evolving tech? So for starter, we have to find out the user's needs and give them solution within overall design. Think of this way: the user has a problem, and what kind of solution can we create to solve it? Use cases can help define the way the users might interact with the smart device. Besides the usual team, other professionals such as electricians or architects might come into the picture, whom you should consult the feasibility of the product within the home. It should be iterative process, but it should be considered that changes on the physical object might be more expensive. That's why the discovery phases should be very thorough. Defining the persons is good way to find out the tone of voice of the product. The next challenge, that the best smart home device will hear what people say. But there are multiple conditions that have to be considered when defining the way people will speak to the device. I mentioned earlier that users might have accent or speak from far away. They might get interrupted or might cough during the command, but there could be a many other similar factors that can be challenge the device's understanding what the user meant. Not to mention the countless way they can express one command. They could be very technical persona who could tell a command in a great detail where another could be a more vague. The device should be able to execute the action even if the user didn't give all the information that was needed to do so. It has to draw a conclusion from a context, try to understand the intent that confirm, and write a number of questions. So instead of making the user repeat the same command, make the device ask for missing information instead. This will result in a more natural conversation. Also, the AI should let the user know that the command has been confirmed and executed. The next challenge, a thinking like user is a key for a smooth experience. It is very important to define how they would be like to get from A to B, building up as many flows as possible of the whole process between the user and the device takes time, and it shouldn't be a rush. A device will be fail multiple times, and that's totally okay. That is the way it is will be improved. So when defining the structure of speech, the main things to be considered are the following: what people say, what they actually mean, what the result should, right? The device persona should be tailored according. Is it friendly? Does it match the company brand? Does it sound pleasant? Move on the competence. Designer should have a solid knowledge of the system design and awareness of the consistency. If the designer product has a built-in Alexa, for example, they should follow the guidelines to keep the consistent experience with the people are already used, unless the user test prove otherwise. Even, even though the main interaction with smart devices will be based on voice, they need to have a screen or some sort of visual indicators. The best way to decide whether the device needs a screen or a just simple LED light will be enough to test it with users. So last, that is challenge is communication should be natural with smart home product. So where but people are used to getting the feedback, seeing the reaction when talking to someone. Thus, the smart devices need to show somehow that they can be hear the users or indicate that they are waiting for a command or processing it. Another important factor is to be able to turn off that the device's microphone. The most people are very concerned about their privacy. They still feel uncomfortable by having the devices in the house that hears everything. It might be one of the reasons why adaptation is so slow. So having the indicators that show when the device is turned on is one of the most important features. If the product has a screen, it is important to show the main function of the device rather than the built-in voice AI functionality. Another important factor is to separate the visual controls from the voice experience. Also, keep in mind that people might stand far from the device, so the elements on the screen should be of the size that can be easily viewed from the distance. This means that it should not be overcrowded. It should be clean and to point a containing only necessary elements. Here is interesting case study about the Google Home Hub's visual experience. So these are the different challenges of this designing the smart homes. So question will be like this: what are the different challenges in designing a smart home interface? Okay. So in next session, we'll study smart devices, handheld devices, and what is the future of a SCM.